Hi, welcome to today's inspirational nugget, arguably the last for this month. Thank you for joining us throughout. It is titled Communicating with Competence. Communicating with Competence. So all that we have looked at, from goal setting of what you want to say, to audience analysis, to content, to clarity, to credibility, all the stuff. How do we box all together to communicate with competence? Remember, the greatest communicator of all time, his name is Jesus. We gleaned from his life basic rules that communicators can use. He never went to school, remember, a formal education, but he evoked such passion and huge followership. Even after 2,000 years of his existence, he's still making waves. There must be something about him. In the Old Testament, a statement was made that could be alluded to him. In the book of Isaiah chapter 50 verse 4, the Lord hath given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary. Now, in this text, we have some three key things that everyone who wants to be heard needs to take note of. We have the ethos of communication, the logos of communication, and the pathos of communication. Let me explain. When we talk about the ethos of communication, is how to gain the respect of your audience. How will audience respect you? The ethos of communication. When we talk about the logos of communication, we're talking about how to support your statement, your word, your statement, your message with credible fact. That is the logos. Then the pathos is how you can persuade the audience with their emotion to bring them to a point of decision, or a point where they need to take a stand, so to speak. These three things are critical if you want to speak effectively, if you want to be heard. In Matthew chapter 9 verse 36, the Bible says that when Jesus saw the people, he had compassion on them. He saw them, his emotions were moved towards them. Based on Christ's emotion towards the audience, he saw them as people who are without leaders. So he was able to address them in a way, in a compassionate way, in a genuine, lovable way, that the people were able to relate with him. If you want to communicate effectively, if you do not win the approval of the audience, you go nowhere with your message. Number two, if your statements are not backed with credible statement, credible sources, as we talk about, you are going nowhere. If you're not able to move them to a point whereby you can speak effectively, that they get to a point of decision, you go nowhere. For example, in the book of Matthew, Christ said, "Come unto me, all you that are laboring and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." That is a communicator par excellence, evoking the pathos of the communication ladder or model. So you need to speak with a sense of ethos, you need to speak with a sense of logos, you need to speak with a sense of pathos. Let me break it down into 10 basic points. I'm just going to call them one by one so that you lean with it. We are talking about how to communicate in a competent way. Point number one, know your audience. We said it before. Know your audience. After knowing your audience, you are going to develop content that can relate with the audience. Point number two, develop a content that is relevant, that is useful to the audience. Point number three, be thoroughly vexed with your content. Know your content. Be versed with your content. Point number four, anchor your message on a credible source. Anchor your message on a credible source. Point number five, practice your content. Practice the thought. You have the outline in your mind. Practice the content. If you want to speak competently, practice the content. Point number six, have a hook. That is the main theme. For example, Christ will speak, and the kingdom of heaven is like unto, that is the main key, that is the hook. So all the other subjects, all the other things are just revolving around that. Have a hook, a central theme that all that you are saying will revolve around it. Point number seven, use the power of silence. You're speaking at a point in time to grasp your audience attention. Sometimes give it just a little silence. Just a pause to invite the audience back. Granted, they have been wandering in the course of your presentation. Point number eight, speak to your audience, not over your audience. I'm learning to know how to do that well so that you don't extremely scream it's a weakness I'm working on, especially when I see bigger audience. What you need to do is, it must be a rule we need to put in place. Don't speak over your audience. Speak to your audience. Speak to your audience. Don't speak over your audience. Speak to your audience. Point number 9, speak with your body. Use the non-verbal cues as well: eye contact, facial expression, body language, the way your body is moving. And point number 10, never think anytime you speak people have understood it is okay. Try to get feedback. My name is Godswill Mensah. There is a need for us to be heard. Not just what we say, how we say it, when we say it. There must be some rules to communicate effectively. I want to be part of your life as you communicate to be heard, to bring about social and spiritual change. Let's connect on my social media handles and be faithful, even as you attempt to speak to your home, to your friends, and to the world. Stay blessed and be faithful.